It's Colin Morgan with Charles Real Estate. I wanted to introduce you to Luke Wile of Red Key Mortgage today. I've been using Luke for quite some time with my clients, but they've recently introduced some new technology and some new systems into what they do. And I wanted Luke to talk to you guys about it, just to give you some information. And it's kind of exciting stuff. So, Luke, without further ado, I'd like to just hand it over to you so you can maybe fill us in on what you're doing.
Hey, thanks, Colin. So I am the broker of Red Key Mortgage, and as Colin mentioned, the use of technology and communication is a really important part for us. One, because we want to keep our realtor partners like Colin educated as to where we are, but we want our clients to always know where they are in a transaction as well. And so we have this technology that we created called Deal Connect. Deal Connect has a couple different folds to it. The first one is a pre-approval fold where once you've been pre-qualified through us, you will get a link as well as Colin will get a link that will outline the full pre-qualification. You can use that landing page. You can copy and paste that landing page or take a PDF of it and include that with an offer so it strengthens your offer. You also have the full knowledge of where you stand at any given point. And then in the journey part of it, once you have an offer accepted, we give text message and email updates through different stages and milestones. So you've got your submitted milestone, and then once it's been conditionally approved, then unconditionally approved and funded and instructed as well. So there's different milestones along the way, and we have this portal so that we can interact with each other and give these updates efficiently. And then we also have a state-of-the-art document intake portal and application portal that keeps your information secure. So we're using technology as a way to enhance communication and improve the process for our clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like I know for me, it's really nice as you're moving through the process of buying or selling a home with somebody and they're looking for a new mortgage or an approval. It just keeps me updated so I don't have to like necessarily pester my clients. It just gives me that information as we're moving forward. So if there is a roadblock there, it's easier for me to see that and identify that, and then we can obviously look for different ways to hopefully overcome those barriers, that kind of thing. But that's what I like is the fact that I'm kept up to date. It's not just like there's this long pause of application process and then it's either like boom, yes or no. You're kind
Right.
of like every step of the way I'm notified as well as my clients are. And I think that's super important. And it kind of breaks down or it just kind of eases the stress for both of us because we know it's being worked on.
Right.
We're not just waiting for this grand finale answer, like everybody's sitting on pins and needles at the end as opposed, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. And I think the technology is super cool, Luke.
Thanks,
So
Colin.
thanks for that.
Yeah. So what are you seeing in the market right now on your end?
Oh, well, this year's been a wild ride. We've moved from the beginning of the year where it was an absolute seller's market, and then to the summertime where it was starting to float between a seller's market and more of a balanced market. And now we're into what I would say is a true buyer's market. So it's really important to list your home appropriately. If your house is overpriced, it's definitely sitting right now.
Hmm.
Certain sectors are different, like the condo sector, like apartment style condos, are very saturated with inventory. There's over 5 months of inventory right now, and usually we're like around like in the 3 to 3.5 month range. So what you're seeing is condos sitting and also people having to adjust those prices in a downward trend in order to get buyers to buy.
Hmm.
And buyers are taking their time and they're shopping like crazy and taking their absolute time before they make their decisions. So, I mean, great for a buyer. It's crappy if you're selling, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't know. Like me and you have talked about this. Like, what's next year going to bring, and how do we predict that? And like the guy that's got that crystal ball and could do that, I want to hire that person because I would love to have that information because I don't really know. I don't know. I think it's going to kind of string along a little bit the way it is for a while. I think because there's a lot of new product, so new builders are bringing product to market, which is causing the competition with the resale market.
Right.
So that's kind of a lot of it. We're also seeing lots of like terminations of listings because people are listing their home, they're not selling, and they're just gonna kind of pack up and wait till spring. So
Right.
I don't know now what that's gonna do to the spring market with all these people terminating. Is that gonna bring everybody back out in the spring, and then we have another kind of flooded market, which would be
Right.
another buyer's market again. So yeah, it's I wish I had that crystal ball. Do you know
Right.
what do you think? Like, what are your thoughts?
Well, we're seeing the same thing, and really what the only thing that we can provide from a financing solution is if people are interested in if they want to buy now because the market is a little bit slower. One thing we're seeing is that people are potentially holding onto their property for an interim basis. Maybe it's a short term, maybe they convert it to a rental, they access some of their equity, and then down the road, maybe they sell it, but then it allows them to get into a house right away. We pull the equity, we put that into the new property, and then we offset that cost by using a rental offset. And that really helps people in a lot of cases be able to afford both homes and then sell in the market that they kind of prefer to.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I really like the fact that you have like what you're doing is giving options to people, right?
Yes.
And that's really what this is all about. It's there's no right way to do this. There's just what's best for this person in their given situation.
Right.
And I think
Exactly.
that's what's also kind of fun about doing this kind of work as well is like we get to solve people's problems with around trying to obtain that home they want. So
Exactly. Yep.
yeah,
Some people it might be a little bit too much where they just say, "Hey, I don't want to be a landlord or I don't want to consider it." But for
yeah,
other people, even if they don't want to be a landlord, we can also still work out the math so that the lender sees it as a rental. And then if they decide to sell it, the lender's not going to be upset that we positioned it as a rental and used the market rent to afford it and then sold it because once it's sold, that liability's off as well. So it's kind of more of a worst case scenario if somebody
yeah,
wanted to do it in, November, December, but then sell it in a hotter market. I don't know if it'll be hotter, but a spring market, in March, April, or May, and hold the two for a couple months. That's definitely a way that we could help the ratios make it work for the client.
right. Okay. And any sort of magic coming with interest rates? Anything there?
Well, they cut rates. The Bank of Canada cut rates on the 29th of October. That was a quarter point. Most prime rates are now at 4.45%. And there's another meeting coming up on the 10th of December. There's not high optimism that they're going to cut again. And then they also think that rates are kind of going to maintain here a little bit over the next couple of months until we see what happens with inflation, we see what happens job growth. I think that we're probably going to be in a stagnating spot with rates for probably, yeah, the next quarter to half a year until we get more information.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess if people are waiting for that magical time to buy or sell, we don't really know what it's going to look
That's
like.
right.
Um, I think, like as I tell people, if you are looking to sell and then leave the city, it's not a bad time. But if you're looking to sell and then buy in the same market, it doesn't impact you that much because you're buying into the same low market. You're selling low, but you're also buying low, right?
Right.
And so that's not a huge concern if people are staying in within the city. But if you are leaving town, there may be different times that are better than right now. But um, well, that's awesome. I mean, that's just a little bit of information, so that's great. I just wanted people to hear more about you because I know I really like using Red Key, and I
Thank
think
you.
that you have a lot of value, and people will find that as soon as they move to you. So thanks very much, Luke. Hope you have a great rest of your November. Yeah, November, and a great Christmas. And I'm sure I'll talk to you before then. And again, guys, it's Red Key Mortgage, Luke Wiley, and as always, Colin Morgan with Charles Real Estate. If you guys need anything, whether it's buying or selling a home or more getting a mortgage or remortgaging, Luke's your guy. Have a great day,
Thanks, Cole.
Luke.
Thanks, you too. See ya.
Thanks. Bye bye.